And now...
Thanks for joining us, meteorologist Nicole Karkic. So we're following some big storms here across Canada. A massive nor'easter is going to disrupt millions stateside and many of us here in the east. Lake effect snow all day for some areas in southern Ontario and Chinooks. Well, you in the west, you're just dealing with maybe wanting to turn on the fans. Let's talk about the snow squall watch in place right now for the western shores of Newfoundland. Corner Brook is included, Wreck House as well. So that will be ongoing through the day. And then the big storm comes tonight. So overnight while you're sleeping, likely after midnight, it's going to push in to Nova Scotia first. And we've got all these winter storm warnings in place right now, just below that blizzard warning criteria. So some strong winds gusting up to 80 kilometers an hour along the shorelines. Plus, they're saying for parts of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, this could be 15 to 30 centimeters of snow through the whole event. Localized areas could get even more. It will start all off as snow, but parts of Nova Scotia from Yarmouth draw a line up to Sydney. We'll start to see some mixing into tomorrow. Plus Newfoundland, yes, this is your snow into Tuesday night, but you're also going to see some mixing with St. John's getting above the freezing mark for tomorrow afternoon. So messy, heavy, wet snow. You know the drill in the east. This afternoon, Sherbrooke -11, Montreal, nice day for you, but cold at -14. Halifax will be -6 by the afternoon. And look at this stateside. We've got 30 to 60 million people between a blizzard warning and a winter storm warning. So a huge impact if you're trying to travel in and out of the area. It's pretty much going to be a no-go. A lot of airlines completely canceling all their flights for today. Take a look at the radar right here. Can't really make it out, but there's a very strong easterly band coming off the lake. There it is right there. And it's hitting Burlington, Toronto, Oakville, Hamilton for this morning, where there is a snow squall watch and warning in place. So this is the warning zone. It will be reduced visibility for your morning, and the problem is it's staying there through the day. So with that strong easterly flow, we could get up to 10 to 15 centimeters really close to the shoreline. And yes, Burlington, Hamilton, you are included in that. So give yourself extra time this morning. It will be slow going. Northwestern Ontario, about 5 centimeters for you, but it's the south that's seeing the snow. High pressure moves in tonight. Certainly will. Thanks so much, Chrissy. And already stateside, there are a lot of cancellations if you're traveling along the eastern seaboard towards Boston, New York City, for example. Now, looking at what's happening right now, we do have the western shores of Newfoundland around Corner Brook with some sea effect flurries, so that will continue. Also around St. John's, some scattered flurries for you as well. Excuse me. Let me try that again. All right. So for this morning, we do have some cold air in place as we look to the east, and we'll be right back. Let's just hear from the mayor of New York City right now. For tomorrow, it's along the eastern seaboard where millions of people would be impacted by this storm, and the New York City mayor is saying this could be the worst storm they have seen. Wow, so thousands of flights impacted there, so call ahead. Cold high pressure, low pressure in the south, so that's stirring it up, and we got some cold east winds coming off Lake Ontario, and we've seen some snow squalls west of Toronto towards Oakville, Burlington. They'll migrate to Hamilton and down the south shore through the day today. Right, so it's going to be a tough commute for some, and this tough commute if you're traveling stateside. Blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, so anything in the pink or the dark pink is the areas most impacted. How much snow, Chris? Well, up to 45 to 70 centimeters in the hardest hit areas. Hence the flight cancellations already in earnest. And guess where this storm is going? It's going to move northwards. All right, so we've got snow squalls this morning and much of the day western Newfoundland, at times very poor visibility, a cold night ahead. So this will ensure that everybody starts with snow. But Nicole, right along the Atlantic coastline in Nova Scotia, we may see some of that mix over to ice pellets or rain snow mix. And same story in Newfoundland, initial snow, and then you'll see some mixing as well. But New Brunswick, PEI at this point looks like predominantly snow and some strong winds. Exactly. So we're under winter storm warnings for the Maritime provinces. They are in blizzard warnings stateside. We haven't reached that criteria quite yet for the warnings, but what it means is snow or blowing snow. The sustained winds have to be at 40 kilometers an hour or greater, and that's the reduced visibility. So we're just under the criteria, but a lot of people will feel like it's a blizzard in Atlantic Canada tomorrow. And we might see that get upgraded to blizzard warnings as well. It's not a blizzard, but it may feel like a mini one across western areas of Lake Ontario, essentially across the Golden Horseshoe. So Toronto and west, that's where we see some of the heaviest snow. And speaking of snow, Chris, well, this is in the Pennsylvania region where they are getting ready for the worst of it. The salt truck's already out, ready to go, and people bracing for it too. Oh boy, yeah, this is a big one, and there hasn't been a lot of snow
snow in the U.S. Northeast so far this winter, so this is a bit of a shock to the system. Look at the isobars tightly packed around the low, so there's going to be some strong winds. It may not quite rival, especially certainly in Newfoundland, as the weekend storm, but this is a very wide, it's taking more of a southerly track, so instead of rain, we're going to see a lot more snow with this one.
Exactly, compared to last. And then we get a bit of a break in the Maritimes, and then a new system moving through on Friday. Not as strong or impactful, but certainly of note after dealing with such a big one on Tuesday. Let's take you to this. Well, Calgary.
17?
How about 17? Yes, 17 degrees. Would you like that, Chris?
I could take that.
You
And
could
it's
take it.
mid-teens again today, and we broke all kinds of temperature records. Another warm one today.
Thanks for joining us. Meteorologist Nicole Karkic with you. Developing stories are the massive nor'easter that's disrupting millions stateside, moving to us in Atlantic Canada tonight. Lake effect snow is really impacting the commute already around Hamilton, Burlington, Oakville. We'll tell you how much snow you'll see through the day. And Chinooks, well, you in the west dealing with temperatures up to 17 degrees yesterday in the city of Halifax. Taking a look at the big picture, we've got some cloud cover moving in through northern BC at this point. Otherwise, pretty quiet across the prairies. We've seen some light flurries in southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba with some rain snow mixing in there. And then this is the developing system along the eastern seaboard, which will be bringing travel to a halt for many areas there. Also, when it moves into Atlantic Canada, it will be a messy storm with winter storm warnings already in place. Chrissy Van joining us in Moncton, where it is the calm before the storm. That's right, Chrissy, and already ahead of that, winter storm warnings, a wind warning as well. So notice in pink all the areas included. It starts off as snow, and then it will transition over to a rain snow mix from Yarmouth over towards Sydney. But look at that, up to 15 centimeters of snow in some cases for the east. Speaking of snow, let's check in with Kasia Badurka, who's in the squalls right now. And that was New York City's mayor talking about the storm they're seeing right now, which has canceled thousands of flights. They expect travel to be majorly impacted along the eastern seaboard, Boston, New York, places like that. Blizzard-like conditions there, and blizzard-like conditions need snow or blowing snow, sustained winds at 40 kilometers an hour or greater, and visibility under 400 meters. So that would be the criteria across Canada. We aren't in blizzard warnings, but we're in winter storm warnings. We could see them upgraded because this storm certainly is coming for us. Southern Ontario, some lake enhancement coming off of Lake Ontario with easterly winds. Kasia Badurka getting hit by all those snowflakes right now in the midst of us. Tell us where you are and how it's feeling out there.
I gotta tell you, Nicole, it's like, good morning, it's Monday, and here we have the snow squall, so it's kind of like a double whammy, really.
All right, thanks, Kasia. So looking at the snow squall watches and warnings, Hamilton, Oakville included, with those easterly winds continuing throughout the day. It's going to be very narrow band, bringing some areas up to 10 to 15 centimeters of snow. So looking at it on the radar, look at that single band hitting the areas pretty hard. Toronto getting a light dusting at this point, and for Atlantic Canada, it is a proverbial calm before the storm, but it is cold for today. And speaking of cold, we've got temperatures like this. Iqaluit stands out, minus 43 right now, feeling like minus 65 with the wind chill. Thanks so much, Kasia. So the warnings in place include Oakville, Burlington, and Hamilton. We do have a watch for later today for Grimsby, Vineland, over towards the Niagara region. We see those winds shift to more of a northeasterly rather. But at this point, very strong easterly flow, bringing possibly through the day 10 to 15 centimeters anywhere marked in white. So the hardest hit areas getting in that zone. So through the day, it is going to be a mess on the roads. Already a mess this morning, as you can see, along Highway 403, 401, even the Toronto area getting some light snow at this point. Our must-see video right now takes us to Prince Edward Island, where a time-lapse shows you the snow changing over to the 40 to 60 millimeters of rain that fell across parts of the Maritime provinces. Chrissy Van joining us right now in Moncton, New Brunswick, where we already have some winter storm warnings in place for the next system that's coming through. Yes, thanks, Christine. It does feel like minus 20s across New Brunswick for you this morning. These are the winter storm watches and warnings that we have in place. It will start tonight after midnight for the east. Thanks for joining us, Nicole and Chris. With you, we've got big developing stories. The
Yes.
massive nor'easter in the east, which will affect millions stateside and us in the east as well.
Absolutely. Lake effect snow on the west side of Lake Ontario. So not the big ones off Lake Huron, but affecting millions of Ontarians.
That's right. And Chinooks,
Yes.
well, bringing the heat to the west.
Right.
Lucky you in Calgary, getting up to about 15 degrees this afternoon. And we do have Chrissy Van joining us in the Moncton area.
Nice.
This is the storm we're following,
That's
Chris.
right.
It has already canceled thousands of flights.
Yeah, about 4,000 between today and tomorrow. So trying to fly to Philadelphia, Boston, New York, it's not going to happen. Recovering from a weekend storm in the Maritime, gearing up for another one. Chrissy Van, how does it feel out there this morning?
All right, thanks so much, Chrissy. So what we're dealing with now, Chris, is just the sea effect coming off the Gulf
That's
St.
right.
Lawrence, Parson Pond, as well as Corner Brook.
Very poor visibility on the Trans-Canada Highway, anywhere up Wreck House, Portabassett, Stephenville, and also the Burgeo Highway, too. So you know how these work. You can be driving along, it's not too bad, and all of a sudden you can barely see the hand in front of your face. That's for now.
Yes.
Here's what's coming.
Yeah, so this comes tonight, likely after midnight for many areas across Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. It all starts as snow, but then we're going to see a mixing from Yarmouth Trawl line up to about Sydney, some mixing into tomorrow, some strong winds, and snow, Chris, 30 centimeters or more in some cases.
Absolutely. For Newfoundland, looks like it's going to start around midday Tuesday, all the snow, and then changing over to freezing rain and ice pellets. So there's a concern there as well. So as Chrissy was mentioning, take advantage of today's cold but sunny weather to get what you need.
Yeah, and stateside, look at that. I mean, it is a mess. We've got 30 to 70 million people either under a blizzard warning or a winter storm warning. So it is going to be crippling for them stateside. And the squall is coming off of Lake Ontario at this point with those easterly winds. Thanks, Kasia. So that's right. We've got these warnings in place at Burlington, Hamilton, included Oakville. Now, there is also a watch zone. We've got St. Catharines included in that. The Niagara area going to get hit later today as we see the winds go to more of a northeasterly flow. So it's a very strong easterly wind at this point. Anything in white, Burlington, Hamilton, 10 to 15 centimeters through the day, as you can see here. But yes, on the outskirts towards Mississauga, even over towards Milton, we're going to see those squalls impacting the roadways, which could reduce visibility to next to nothing at times. There it is right now. So the easterly winds, again, going to shift south down towards Hamilton and Vineland as the day goes on. So just be careful out there. It's going to be ongoing. It dies down tonight, though. Must-see video. This is in Prince Edward Island. Storm this weekend, dumped a lot of snow, but then we saw the rain, about 40 to 60 millimeters across the Maritime provinces. So a messy storm system and another messy system on the way for tonight. Chrissy Van in Moncton right now with the cold before the storm. Well, dry air in place for the east. Montreal -14, the daytime high. Ottawa -12 and below average in Toronto, too. Calgary, on the other hand, 15 degrees this afternoon. That warm air comes to an end, though, on Wednesday. Right, so not a fun morning for many. Also, the stories we're following is a massive nor'easter disrupting millions stateside, us in the east by tonight. Lake effect snow, as Kasia mentioned, and Chinooks. Well, that's the west story.
Bring out the heat, indeed. Okay, so a bit of disparity going across the nation. Big ridge of high pressure across the west, centered right over Idaho, so that's pumping in the mild air. It's been warm enough for showers in Winnipeg this morning. Light snow in northwestern Ontario. It's the cold east wind off Lake Ontario that's bringing the snow squalls, and down here, that's the brute.
That is the one we're following, which has prompted a lot of watches and warnings across the east. You could be in for up to 30 centimeters of snow. The strong winds picking up, so could be worse than the last one you saw. Here's Chrissy Van in Moncton right now with the latest. Exactly. Thanks, Chrissy. So get prepared today. Even though it's cold, we've got the sun out. It's dry. Montreal looking good at -14, but yes, cold. And these are the warnings in place stateside. So 30 to 60 million people under warnings for blizzards.
All right, and we'll be keeping you up to date as our storm watch continues.
Thanks, Kasia. Yeah, it is thick out there. People on Twitter are already saying that the roads were really slick as they were driving around, and that lake effect continues. But the big storm we're following is stateside. It has canceled thousands of flights, and it's moving to you in Atlantic Canada next. We've got Chrissy Van dealing with the cold in Moncton, and then she's going to be dealing with all that snow. That's right. Thanks, Chrissy. So this is how much snow we can get. Starts off all as snow for the Maritimes, changes over to a mix from Yarmouth from a line over to Sydney. But yes, up to 30 centimeters. Then it moves into Newfoundland as well.
You think?
So in the east, many areas below average this afternoon. Ottawa -12, Toronto -7 with flurries and more snow towards places like Hamilton and Burlington. Yes, it's 15 degrees in Calgary this afternoon, but how about going to Freeport, 25. Nassau getting up to 25. Sunshine all day on Tuesday. Georgetown, 23 degrees. Look at that. We can't even find a cloud in the sky. And what about Miami? Well, 23 degrees on Tuesday. I will take that over the below average temperatures in the east. Enjoy your travels. So in the east, many areas below average this afternoon. Ottawa -12, Toronto -7 with flurries and more snow towards places like Hamilton and Burlington. Yes, it's 15 degrees in Calgary this afternoon, but how about going to Freeport, 25. Nassau getting up to 25. Sunshine all day on Tuesday. Georgetown, 23 degrees. Look at that. We can't even find a cloud in the sky. And what about Miami? Well, 23 degrees on Tuesday. I will take that over the below average temperatures in the east. Enjoy your travels. Nicole Karkic and Dr. Doug Gillum joining us with a look at some of the key stories we're following for you this morning. We've got in southern Ontario some lake effect bands, Doug, and a surprise for many heading out the door.
Some very heavy snowfall rates, 2 to 5 centimeters per hour around the west end of Lake Ontario, and that is going to continue through most of the day. This band is going to meander back and forth. The focus of the heaviest snow will be drifting south, Burlington to Hamilton, and at times later today, especially into the overnight, getting into the Niagara Peninsula. So definitely impacting travel along the QEW.
Okay, and will it end this evening? A lot of people, even at work here, saying I've got to drive my kids to ballet practice or what have you. Will it continue this evening and overnight?
Well, for the evening commute, we're going to see widespread light snow actually getting brushed by the outskirts of the system in the state. So a lot of places going to see a dusting to a coating of snow, but then the heaviest lake effect snow will continue through the evening all the way into Tuesday morning for parts of Niagara. So definitely keep that in mind as you're traveling through this region, St. Catharines over to Hamilton.
All right, so when all is said and done, in that white there, heads up, maybe 15 centimeters of snow. Now, stateside, this was in the Buffalo region where cars were sliding off the ditch due to the icy roads, Doug. A lot of talk about the United States today because the New York City mayor said that the storm they're seeing today could be one of the worst snowstorms they have ever seen.
Right. It's going to be. There's been a lot of historic storms in New York. The worst of the storm will be more towards Boston, but no question this will cripple travel in the northeastern United States. A lot of flights canceled. Blizzard warnings all the way to the Canadian border.
Wow, and it looks like they could get up to 70 centimeters of snow. So with the winter storm warnings we have in place in the Maritime provinces, will this be the same kind of impact for our viewers in Atlantic Canada?
Well, it's not quite as bad as what they're going to see in the States, but still very dangerous travel Tuesday morning. Snowfall rates up to 5 centimeters per hour with strong winds. We will have whiteout conditions.
All right, and that begins for you tonight.
Thanks.
So in the east, many areas below average this afternoon. Ottawa -12, Toronto -7 with flurries and more snow towards places like Hamilton and Burlington. Yes, it's 15 degrees in Calgary this afternoon, but how about going to Freeport, 25. Nassau getting up to 25. Sunshine all day on Tuesday. Georgetown, 23 degrees. Look at that. We can't even find a cloud in the sky. And what about Miami? Well, 23 degrees on Tuesday. I will take that over the below average temperatures in the east. Enjoy your travels.
The weather.
So in the east, many areas below average this afternoon. Ottawa -12, Toronto -7 with flurries and more snow towards places like Hamilton and Burlington. Yes, it's 15 degrees in Calgary this afternoon, but how about going to Freeport, 25. Nassau getting up to 25. Sunshine all day on Tuesday. Georgetown, 23 degrees. Look at that. We can't even find a cloud in the sky. And what about Miami? Well, 23 degrees on Tuesday. I will take that over the below average temperatures in the east. Enjoy your travels.